Welcome to Indiana Sports Beat Radio.
So for the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world. Time!
Three on the way. Oh! It went in! It went in! And Indiana wins the ball game!
Know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni!
Float game for the win! Ayla's gone. Goodbye. Touchdown, Indy. Woo! IU. America. They got a football team now.
It's pretty simple. I win. Google me.
You know that I'm the cream of the crop.
Now, here's Jim Coyle.
Hello, people. Welcome back. I'm glad to have you along on this Tuesday. I hope you're having a great week and a great start to your week, and your travels are easy and without trouble as you travel throughout the day. Glad to have you along. Make sure you lock it on the station you got it on for complete coverage throughout the day of great sporting content and great content just all the way around. And if you're following on social media, you know the routine. Please hit the subscribe and like buttons. It helps us a lot. So would really appreciate that. So how's everybody doing? We got the World Series going, which was a little bit exciting last night, but I only know that because I saw it when I woke up in the morning because I could not make it, baby. They went 18 innings last night in a World Series classic where Freddie Freeman crushes a walk-off home run in the 18th for the Dodgers to take a 2-1 lead in the World Series and in that game. These teams are going back and forth, toe-to-toe. I mean, man, there were some great plays. What was the play? Well, where he threw the guy out at third base. Just what? Oh yeah, second baseman. That was an incredible throw, right on time. Man, great baseball. Will Klein, is that who that was? Okay, great. Thanks, Jason. Just fun stuff, man. But that's what you get when you get the best of the best. And that's why I think the college football playoffs, they're getting better and better. They're going to get better and better because as college football has leveled out, you're going to get better and better matchups. But the World Series, man, 2-1. So there's 2-1 right now. The Dodgers up. I expect this to be like this the whole way. I don't think it's going to be like the game one where the Blue Jays just blew out the Dodgers. The plan for the Blue Jays, though, coming into game 3 of the World Series on Monday night wasn't to walk Dodgers Shohei Ohtani, but by the end of their 18-inning marathon loss, it became their identity. Ohtani was on base a record 9 times. Holy smokes. 9 times. He reached base, including by intentional walk in 4 consecutive plate appearances. Starting in the 9th inning, a 5th walk in the 17th was a 4-pitch unintentional one. But for all practical purposes, the Blue Jays gave him first base then too. Wow, it's not the easiest thing in the world to just walk him and face Mookie Betts and Freddie Freeman. Blue Jays manager John Schneider said after the 6-5 loss, you've got to really execute at a high level against him. And I think the first couple of games we did. Hey, man, he's just he's a monster. What did he was going, I think, 4 for 4 earlier in the night already. Crushed a 2 home runs. I mean, he's He's crazy. He's just, it's nuts. I mean, he's a baseball freak. I mean, this is the greatest that I've ever seen. The dude pitches and hits like you can't believe. It is nuts. It is nuts. Yeah. Reach base 9 times. Fun stuff, though. Hey, fun stuff to watch. It's great to have. We've got college football, which is a blast right now as well. I mean, it is at an all-time high, if you ask me. And you didn't. But I'm telling you anyway. Wow, what a coaching carousel there is. Holy smokes. Again, I talked about all these openings. You've got Florida, LSU, Penn State. Who am I missing? There are so many big time ones. All at the same time. There's going to be a vacuum. This is where Indiana fans could potentially worry about losing someone like Brian Haynes or Mike Shanahan. I don't know if they're looking at the moment, but this is going to be the greatest plethora of plum jobs to come open. I don't recall this many jobs of this stature coming open at the same time ever. I mean, there are a lot of big time opportunities here. And I thought that UCLA had found theirs. Oh, yeah, there's another one, UCLA. I thought UCLA had found theirs. No, I don't think so. If they have, then they're settling. But everybody wants their Kurt Signetti. And that takes investigation. That takes some work. Scott Dolson put work into that, and his crew. They put work into finding that. So how do these people realize that? I think so many athletic departments act in such a ridiculous manner. I'll use North Carolina as an example. There you go. That's one that I would call that. Yes. Hello, Newman. God, I love that. That's one of my favorite things. Hello, Newman. Yeah, the Signetti effect. It certainly is. I've been saying it, but it is the Signetti effect. As like I said, everybody wants their Kurt Signetti. And not everybody can have it. And I guess the goal by firing your coach during the season is, I don't know, to be, there's no reason to me, because you could still get out of it. You could still, if you wanted to go back channeling to people, you could still do that without firing the coach. I just don't know how smart it is, to be honest with you. It just kind of wrecks the season. Now, a lot of those seasons are already wrecked in a way, but it seems like it might just give the players a reason to just quit. So, yeah, the coaching carousel, man, is mind-boggling this year. Let's see, we've got it. LSU is open. Florida is open. Penn State is open, as I said. Arkansas is open. Wow. It's like every other day a coach is getting fired. Oklahoma State is open. UCLA, Virginia Tech, Stanford, Oregon State, Colorado State, UAB, Kent State. Holy smokes. Indiana is closed. That's funny. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12. Yeah, well, Brian, I thought UCLA had found their coach too, but not so sure after that beatdown by Indiana. And I saw a good article talking about that very thing. But hey, we got to take a break. Our good friend Mike DeCourcy is going to join us on the program today as well. Keith Farmer from WLEX TV in Lexington. We're going to get a kind of a view of the Purdue and Lexington. I mean, of Purdue and Kentucky, both future Indiana opponents. All of that and more. After these messages, stick with us. We're back right after this.
Andy Moore Honda is Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer for a reason. Buy a new Honda and get a 3-month break from car payments. That's right, no payments for 90 days. That includes the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue, and you get it for just 0.9% financing. Or the 2024 Honda Ridgeline Black Edition or the Honda Accord LX, both for just 1.9% financing. Get more to your door from AndyMooreHonda.com, Bloomington's #1 Honda dealer and your best place for new and used vehicles. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemooreSells@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Huddle up, football fans. Tailgate season is here, and nobody gets you ready for game day like Academy Sports and Outdoors. Swing by your local Academy store or shop online at academy.com to find everything you need, from grills to jerseys and more. Be a watch party legend with gear from top brands like Nike and Under Armour, all at unbeatable prices every day. With 8 Academy stores across Indiana, including our Bloomington location, fun can't lose, and neither can you. Gear up today at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage, and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio, coming to you on this Tuesday, and that means a visit from our good friend Mike DeCourcy from The Sporting News. How are you, sir?
I am well, Jim. How are you?
I'm just peaceful, man. Peaceful, I guess, as we are in the latter stages of the college football season. Well, I guess you should say we're not. I guess latter stages is correct, but not that late. We've still got several games, 5 weeks at least of football, of college with the conference championships, and then a break, and then it goes crazy. Then we get to have some fun. But right now, it's been great. You've got Vanderbilt in the top 10, Mike. You've got Indiana at number 2, could possibly be number 1. Received 11 number 1 votes this week. So we've got all that craziness going on, but nothing crazier than everyone's calling. I'll call it the same. The coaching carousel,
Yes.
which is almost mind-boggling that the number, I just counted them off. I didn't write it down, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 11, right? Kent State, UAB, Colorado State, Oregon State, Stanford, Virginia Tech, UCLA, Oklahoma State, Arkansas, Penn State, Florida, and LSU. I mean, these are some there, and there are some plum jobs in there, of course. LSU, Florida, Penn State, even Arkansas, Oklahoma State, possibly, UCLA, possibly. But does UCLA have the wherewithal when it comes to NIL and all of that to stay in the game, so to speak?
Well, it's a challenge for them with having the campus removed from the stadium and all of that. When you say stay in the game, I guess it depends on what the game is to an extent. Will they be Ohio State anytime soon? No, they will not. I think that I'm pretty comfortable in saying that. But can they be? Look, if Indiana can put together a championship,
everybody wants their Kurt Signetti, Mike.
Yeah, but see, that's the thing, Jim. You know, you mentioned before the coaching carousel, and that's something that I've been calling it for decades. But it's not really a carousel in college football right now. It's a roller coaster in which no one has a seatbelt. So, like you go over those big hills and you're hanging on, and you don't know where it's going. I think the fact that Indiana and Vanderbilt have done so well is indicative of how the landscape has changed and how things can happen quickly, or circumstances can break for your program, or you can hire a Kurt Signetti who was underemployed for a very long time, let's say. I mean, Kurt's, I think, 61 now, and only got to the high major level at 59 or 60. And clearly was that level of coach for a lot longer than that. But there aren't a lot of Kurt's out there, Jim. Everybody wants to pretend there are, but there aren't. There are not. That's not to say there aren't other underemployed coaches out there. But let's look at Kalen DeBoer. Kalen DeBoer was one of those underemployed coaches for a while. He was doing it at the FCS level. And then he gets up to Washington and he does a really nice job. And then he makes the decision to take on the biggest, the biggest program, or one of the biggest programs in college football. And it doesn't happen in 5 minutes, and they want to make a change. I mean, like, they really wanted to fire him on, I don't know, week 2, week 3 this year. And if the people at Alabama were doing the same things as, say, the people at LSU, they would not have Kalen DeBoer right now, and they would not be whatever and one. I don't know exactly, 7-1, 8-1, whatever. They wouldn't be on the roll they're on. You have to understand your landscape. You have to understand how it's changed. And elite programs are going to have slips. They're going to have big slips, and they're going to have small slips. UCLA a couple years ago in basketball was 16-17. Didn't panic, didn't do anything like that, kept Mick Cronin in place. Last year they make the second round, they win 23 games or whatever. They're fourth in the Big Ten, which is last year the second best conference in the nation. And they're back at least in the mix. A lot of people have them top 10, top 15 for this year. Excuse me. You just have to understand, with the amount of money that's at risk, you have to understand what the landscape is now and how it's changed. And maybe it hasn't changed that much for Ohio State, but it's changed for everybody else. And if you're not prepared to deal with that change, you're going to make mistakes like firing Brian Kelly halfway through a year, because that's a terrible decision. There's no reason to do that if you get to the end of the year and you think, it's just not quite going or whatever, but there's no reason to fire Brian Kelly because he lost to an undefeated team. And you don't find out whether or not he can salvage what's left of the season. What if he went on a 4-game winning streak? It probably doesn't get you to the playoff, but it maybe indicates, yeah, we can get this right.
Yeah, and it amazes me because I'm wondering with all of there's a lot of what I call plum jobs, quality
Yes.
jobs. I mean, I'm not going to say any of them isn't quality if you're depending upon the coach looking for the opportunity. I mean, like someone like Brian, but I wonder, is this something Indiana should worry about? Because this could be a time where you could lose a Bryant Haynes or a Mike Shanahan because there are so many plum jobs open that there can't be that many plum coaches out there, or they just haven't been discovered yet.
You can't worry about that, Jim, because it's the price of success. What the key to it was, let's not lose Kurt. Let's make sure that he doesn't go anywhere, that he understands that he's in a great circumstance and that we appreciate what he's accomplished. And we're not going to fire him if he loses to Texas A&M at home. I mean, I know Texas A&M's not coming to Memorial anytime soon, but that concept, we're not going to do that. I think that was really smart of IU, and I think it was really smart of Kurt. I really believe that he is where he needs to be. I feel the same way about Lane Kiffin right now. If I'm Lane Kiffin, I'm certainly getting as much money out of Ole Miss as I can, and maybe even more so, and as much security as I can get. For instance, if I'm Lane, I don't know that I necessarily need more money for me per year, maybe a little being a couple $1 million, right? But what I want is no mitigation. Like if you're firing me, you're paying me. That's
Guaranteed salary. Kurt Signetti has that.
Yeah, I no, you're firing me, you're paying me. Like some of the coaches that agreed to those mitigations, I think they made a mistake, because then it makes it too easy to make these lousy decisions, these capricious decisions that aren't certainly the best thing for the coaches, but also aren't the best thing necessarily for the programs involved. So if I am Lane Kiffin right now, I'm using the leverage I have, and his leverage is massive because LSU's going to want him and Florida's going to want him. And I'm saying, okay, I don't need to necessarily drain the bank, because I want there to be money to pay the players that I got to get to be good, and I want money for my assistants and all that, but I want no mitigation. If you fire me because I lost to Texas A&M at home, you're writing a check, and when I go walking out that door and get another job in 5 minutes, I'm still getting your check.
Yeah, I mean that's something that dangerous things to write, but Indiana's contract with Kurt Signetti, the $93 million, is guaranteed, fully guaranteed. And
here's why it's a good idea, though, Jim, because there is zero chance, and I mean zero chance, that Indiana will find a better coach than Kurt Signetti within the confines of his career. I don't know how much longer Kurt wants to coach, but let's say it's 10 years. Let's say he wants to coach to 71 or 72. IU will not hire a better coach than Kurt Signetti for their football program in that period of time. I say that with no reservation at all, because the pool of coaches who you can say might be better than Kurt is so small that most of them probably already have jobs that are equivalent to or slightly above, and so you're not going to get them away from those jobs. And the idea of hitting the Kurt Signetti lottery a second time in a row, pretty slim. I mean, they're just, like I said, there aren't many of those guys out there. People think that there's this endless supply, like it's a factory. It's like saying, if Shohei Ohtani decides to leave the Dodgers, we'll just go get another Shohei Ohtani. We'll just do that. Well, you got to get 3 guys to get another Shohei Ohtani. So that's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's what I think when I watched the Dale Earnhardt Jr. thing. Teresa Earnhardt says, I'll just get another Dale Jr. And yeah, no, not gonna happen. But So with all of these plum openings, who's gonna fill these? Who's gonna fill their shoes? Little George Jones there, because these are like they talk Matt Rule at Penn State, and I just shake my head. I'm like, why the hell would you want Matt Rule? He hasn't done diddly jack at Nebraska, and I mean nothing. And they have just toiled in mediocrity. And he has had time. He apparently has the resources, or resources, as some people like to say. So I don't know, who are they going to get. I thought UCLA had found their guy, but I don't know. The hiring from within just to do it doesn't always work out very well. So, but it takes research and work. Scott Dolson put work into finding Kurt Signetti. Scott Dolson and crew, there was research. They looked at a lot of different things. They just didn't pluck his name out of the air or off of the here, this is the hot name of the week thing, which is the biggest, where you generally make the biggest mistakes ever, just because someone gets hot. Billy Gillespie. Ask Kentucky about Billy Clyde Gillespie. Not to throw shade at Kentucky, just that I could come up with a lot of examples, but it happens all the time. Research, man. Again, and Darren DeVries. That was not a name that was probably high on a lot of people's list when they were thinking about who the next coach was going to be. So, two different hires, but we've already seen the unbelievable, overwhelming success of the one. I believe that the basketball side will also see success. I'm not going to say it's going to be overnight like football was, but they're going to be successful. They have the right guys in the right places, and they're going to do whatever they can to maintain that. They've done that with Kurt Signetti, and I that is going to bode well for recruiting, Mike. I mean, that is as huge for recruiting, which, in this day and age, recruiting is still a major thing, because I think part of it is great recruiting helps your transfer portal, I think, still, because when you land big time recruits, these guys pay attention to that. They know who's getting great players and not. So I think it's just all going to just continue to stack on top of each other for Indiana.
Yeah, I think when you talk about recruiting now, you have to incorporate all of it. I mean, transfer portal, high school prospects, the junior college guys that you now can get extra years out of if you want to do that. I think you have to look at all of it as part of the picture. But in terms of the lists and all of that, let me tell you a little story about why the hot name and all of that is such nonsense, Jim. I was at the Final Four. I was at a birthday dinner with a bunch of other colleagues for Andy Katz at the Final Four. His wife threw when we were in Phoenix 2 years ago. And on that day, I started to get a little bit of inkling that John Calipari might be leaving Kentucky. And I didn't know it initially where it was going to be, but I had a feeling that he was on his way out. And then ultimately it was established that he was going to Arkansas. And so I had a story ready that said he was leaving, and then put the pieces together, I think at dinner, and filed it while we were at dinner on my phone or something like that. And then when we finished the dinner, I went back to my room and I'm like, okay, now I got to put together a coaching list for Kentucky. So I did some thinking and all of that. And all of the lists that were going out there, Jim, were Nate Oates at Alabama, Dan Hurley at Connecticut. I'm trying to remember one or two of the other massively successful high major coaches that were on other people's.
Probably Duke's coach.
I don't think they were going to hire Duke's coach. But I think Jay Wright might have been on a few lists. I'm not sure, but there were 4 or 5 high major superstars that were on everybody's lists. And I sat down and I said, that guy's not going. He's not going. He's not going. Yes, Kentucky's a fantastic job, but they have great jobs and they're winning where they are. Nate Oates was just in the Final Four. I think he was in that Final Four. Hurley was on his way to winning that Final Four. They weren't leaving. I think Scott Drew was another. His national championship was only, at that point, 3 years old. And so I said, those guys aren't coming. And so then I'm like, who's out there that's really talented and might be connected? And I said, Mark Pope's going to be the number one candidate at Kentucky. And I'm telling you, Jim, you have never seen a reaction like I got from that. I got excoriated from one end of the Commonwealth to the other. And then in a day and a half, Mark Pope was the coach.
Look at you go.
The point is that not that I was right about it, but that you can't assume that just because you have a great job, that you're going to be able to get someone else to take your great job if they already have a great job. Because the incentive to move is what? You're going to pay me a lot of money. I make a lot of money. I can win a national championship there. Yeah, I can win one here. Look at me now. I'm ranked 2 in the country, just to use, Kurt as an example, because he's already shut this all down. But he was the kind of person that was on everybody's list the first day that James Franklin went down.
Who's the Iowa State basketball coach?
TJ Otzelberger.
Yeah. How many times has his name been on a list for a coaching opening?
Yes. So what I wrote last week relative to Penn State is, first of all, I don't think that Penn State made the right decision in moving on from James Franklin, because I think he's a terrific coach and he's been really successful there. And
it was certainly dumb doing it when they did it. I think
he wasn't better than Ohio State, who was basically the way I put it. And so when I looked at around, okay, so who could they get that would be an improvement? And the list is very short because they couldn't get Kurt, so forget that. And the one guy I saw would be Jeff Brom at Louisville. And getting him, really a tricky deal, Jim, because he's a Louisville legend. His family's rooted in, and I acknowledged all that in the column. But he's somebody that is in a position that your job is an improvement. He's really gifted, and your job would be an improvement. Now, you got to get him over all the other stuff, the family stuff and the legend stuff and all that. But that's who could make you better. The list, there just aren't that many out there that Look, Norvell a few years ago at Memphis was doing a great job. And then he went to Florida State and did a great job. They won 13 games and should have been in the college football playoff. And then they didn't get in the playoff, and it all kind of fell apart after that. So there's no obvious answer for success. If you have success, you don't run away from it. You say, okay, how can we take this success and turn it into excellence? And that's the mistake that a lot of programs are making right now.
Yeah, it's just there's going to be a huge vacuum as well. If a lot of times if these jobs get filled, it's going to, the perfect example, Jeff Brom. If let's say he were to move to Penn State, well, then now you've got to fill a good job at Louisville, and this is going to go right down the line. There's just going to be so many of these, and it just magnifies. So we'll look forward. We'll take a quick break. Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News is with us on this Tuesday. Glad to have you along. Back with plenty more right after these messages.
Know a team or group needing a fundraiser? Boost Fundraising raises more money faster and offers the most unique and user-friendly online fundraiser in the nation. Your team receives personalized fundraising pages for each team member. Free team-branded promo gifts shipped to each donor. Boost Fundraising does it all. Sports teams, marching bands, charity causes, and community groups. Go to boostfundraising.com and be sure to enter the promo code COYLE, that's COYLE, to receive a discounted fundraiser. Whether it's a night out with the family, after work with colleagues, or catching the game with friends, Bubba's 33 is the place for you. Bubba's 33 offers a mouthwatering menu of selections that are all made from scratch every day. The portions are big, but the prices are small. And with over 50 big screen TVs, you'll never miss the big game. Bubba's 33, pizza, burgers, beer.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
Huddle up, football fans. Tailgate season is here, and nobody gets you ready for game day like Academy Sports and Outdoors. Swing by your local Academy store or shop online at academy.com to find everything you need, from grills to jerseys and more. Be a watch party legend with gear from top brands like Nike and Under Armour, all at unbeatable prices every day. With 8 Academy stores across Indiana, including our Bloomington location, fun can't lose, and neither can you. Gear up today at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Tuesday. Thank you so much for being with us. Keep it locked on the radio dial wherever you have it as you travel throughout the day. Jim Coyle with you. Mike DeCourcy from the Sporting News as well. Mike, this week we saw the gambling ring, I'll call it, in the NBA of sorts. First of all, I mean, all I can do is shake my head when you have someone who's in the position of being a head coach of a professional sports organization, period, involved with something like this. And then the other guys as well, because they need to be kicked in the ass, because these guys are tripping over $1,000 bills to pick up pennies, literally.
Are there such things as $1,000 bills? I've never had enough money to know the answer to that.
I think that there actually is. I'm only going on it's something I think it does exist.
Okay, really. I'm just asking because my knowledge of American currency stops probably at the 20. I think.
Well, yeah, I've seen Benjamin Franklin. I've seen his photo. But it's usually been when I was in school most of the time. Yeah, I think that there is a $1,000 bill, and I'm about to find out. Yes. The United States $1,000 bill was printed from 1861 to 1934.
So
the
there
Bureau. It's there, but I think it's stopped now.
Yes,
apparently.
There you go.
Let me get into Wikipedia. The Bureau of Engraving, Printing. Yeah. Damn it! I don't want all that. Just tell me, is there one right now or not? Oh well. See, now I jumped into all that information. That's more information than I want.
Yes, according to USA.gov, the United States no longer issues bills in larger denominations such as 500,000, 500, 1,000, 5,000, or 10,000. But they are still legal tender and may be in circulation. So they exist, but they don't make them anymore. And
so are they actually worth more than $1,000?
That'd be a good question too. But I don't think I'll ever find out.
So rare. They stopped making them back in the 30s, man. That's almost 100 years. $1,000 bill that's almost 100 years old. I would think that thing would be worth more than $1,000.
I'm going to say you're probably right about that.
And I'm also going to say that I'll never get to find out, so it won't matter.
Exactly.
The NBA gambling ring. Speaking of $1,000 bills that still are in existence, these guys are tripping over these to get to pennies.
Yeah.
And I don't understand it from that standpoint. B, I don't understand it from the standpoint of the position they're in, especially, again, being a freaking head coach in the NBA. One of the guys just is in the final year of a 4-year, $94 million contract. And then not only were they involved in this, it was freaking cheating. They were cheating the guys with x-ray machines. I'm like, what in the hell is wrong with you all? And now they got caught. So, mama.
Well, that they presented all of this in one press conference. I'm still not sure whether it's all connected or not. And a lot of the response from the American sports media has been to scold those who promote gambling, so to speak. The leagues, in some cases, the states for legalizing, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm not buying that at all. It should always have been legal, Jim. The illegality of sports gambling always was ridiculous. Is it good for you? No. Is it bad for you? Can be. Are there other things that are legal that are good for you or that are not good for you? Yes. So the idea that that we shouldn't have allowed this to come in, or that it was inevitable that because of the affiliation with the various legal books, websites, etc., that it was inevitable that this would happen. It's nonsense. It probably would have happened anyway. You just wouldn't have found out about it, because the books are some of the best aids to investigations such as these, Jim, because they know when something's weird. That's their job, to know when that amount of action on this particular prop or this game or whatever it might be, they know when it's weird. And when it's weird, they get to action, because they have a lot invested in making sure that the games, the competitions are square. The leagues have the most, I believe, to lose or gain by the games being square or not being square, but the books are right there with them. And whether you want to call it Vegas or the online sites, the apps or whatever, I just call them the books, because they're the ones that book the bets, and they have a tremendous investment in the sports being clean. I don't get upset when I see these things, Jim, because what it tells me is that there's somebody on the case. I mean, I don't want people to gamble or to point shave or whatever, or to bet on their own sport. I don't want them to break those rules, but I feel like there is some it's good to know that there's somebody on that wall, so to speak, to borrow a line from A Few Good Men. It's good to know that there's somebody that's watching, and it tells everybody else who is tempted, there's somebody watching, and here's what you have to lose. And if you're a college athlete now, you could have thousands or millions to lose, in addition to the possibility of your freedom, your future career, either in the game or out of the game, might be imperiled by something like this. So I think there's a healthy aspect to when these sorts of things come out, because it really is a great warning to those who would engage, and they think nobody's going to notice me doing this. Nobody's going to know I took this money, or that I booked this bet, or that I missed that free throw. Nobody's going to notice. It's too hard to notice. They're noticing, Jim. They know about it.
Yeah, and it's just it sucks, because sports is becoming so good right now. I mean, with everything leveling out, as far as not having these dynasties anymore. I think the way of the dynasty is gone south, at least in college. It has so far. We'll find out. But also G Leaguers in the NCAA. I'm like, come on, man. This was not like he went to the G League, didn't play, and came back. Louisville's got a guy that was in the G League for 3 years. Why not have a guy that was drafted immediately into the NBA but busted, and why can't he come back?
Let me do a different what about that's more perhaps to the point. Why is it okay to play 3 years in a European club system and come?
Yeah, that's why they're in this pickle, is because they allowed that to begin with.
Well, but they can't stop it, Jim. How can you tell someone who's a professional basketball player you can't play basketball for money over here in this venue? We have this venue, the NCAA, wherein you can be paid by the school, You can be paid by, I don't know, Reebok. You can be paid by Gatorade, but you can't play here because you used to play for money over there. How do you do that?
Yeah, well, yeah, I'm going to say how to, now that you're being paid money, how can having been paid money prior? So again, I asked the same question then. What would prevent someone who got drafted like right at 19, but just was an obvious bust and has 3 years of college eligibility not come back to college?
I don't know that there's necessarily a rule that would prohibit that. I think that's a line that they don't want to erase. But
yeah,
no,
what's the difference between this and the G League?
I'm saying I don't know that there is. It would be dependent on whether or not there would be such a person that would try to do it. But I do know that they might try to keep that line in place. They might take that one to court, but they're not going to the court to keep a couple of guys who went to the Ignite program and didn't make it. I think it under, you know the question that I'm asking, at the time the Ignite was started up, I thought it was a horrible idea for, not that the idea that you could make money playing basketball, but the idea that this was how they were going to help transition high school players who didn't want to play in college into the NBA by putting them in the G League, but not really in the G League, because you don't really want to have to go to Fort Wayne. Not that you would now, but you used to have to. You don't really want to go to Fort Wayne. You don't really want to go to Maine to play against the Red Claws. So we'll put you up in a hotel or whatever in LA, and we'll let you play like a dozen games or 15 games. How was that better? It was a nonsense program. And the NBA deserves its failure, so to speak. And it was a massive bust. No one has come out of that and been a huge success. There have been a couple of guys that are good players to very good, but no huge successes out of that. And it was a massive waste of money and time. And now, like, to me, this is a victory for NCAA basketball, because it says this is the place where you develop best. This is the place. I've always said it, Jim. The best place to become an NBA player is through collegiate basketball. This is the place. And you're seeing it now from European prospects. They want to play here. You're seeing it from guys who were in the G League. They want to play here because this is the best place, because there's no substitute for playing real games with real competition, not games that no one cares about, including except for possibly the head coach, because it looks bad on his record if you lose. No one cares who wins in the G League. Nobody's watching. And is there a value to it to keep busy and keep active and keep working on your game? Yeah, but it's not the best venue. The best venue is NCAA basketball, because 20,000 people show up and care whether you win or not. So you have to get better. If you don't get better, you don't get to the league. And then you're also working with these guys who spent the last 30 years, in 40 years, depending on the coach, or maybe 15 or 20, but somebody like Tom Izzo or Matt Painter, who know how to make you better. I think that the coaches, instead of getting mad about this, should be doing touchdown dances. Like Matt Painter and Tom Izzo, instead of getting mad about this, they should have been, yeah, damn it, right. We were right all along. We were always the best place for prospects.
Yeah, well, Tom Izzo certainly is not a fan.
I know he's not saying that.
No, and I love that. He's always the one that because he can. He's like that old man that. What are you going to say? They can say whatever they want. If you're an 80-year-old man, what are you going to say to them? They've earned the right to say whatever the hell they want to say.
Yes. See, and he also, not only is his like 70, 71 and, got 9 Final Fours and a national championship, but he's also making like $5.5 million a year. So it's, he's pretty much got all the, he's got all the cards. He can say what he wants, but I think that he should be saying, see, I told you should have been playing for me instead of going to Australia or going to Italy, or going to the G League Ignite program. He should have been in NCAA men's basketball, because this is the place where we turn out NBA players.
Yeah, that's true. And now they'll get more of that opportunity. Indiana was in action, as a matter of fact, over the weekend. They played Baylor in an exhibition and got a win, which was a good thing. Didn't look great shooting the ball. They couldn't hit the water if they're from a boat, man. It was bad shooting, but the fact that they got the win showed the scrappy resilience. It's the same thing they did down in Puerto Rico against that Serbian bet team, where they had to come back from behind both times. So there's that. But yeah, they've got some work to do. I mean, the college season getting started, but Kentucky and Purdue played. Keith Farmer is going to join me in a little bit from WLEX in Lexington to give us a review on that, because both of those are on Indiana's schedule. Plus, both of those teams are top 25 team. Well, Purdue obviously was the number one team, but I've never thought that they were number one, to be honest with you. I just don't think that they're that good, but Kentucky is going to be good. Louisville's going to be good. All of these teams. It's going to be fun again watching college basketball, I think.
When you say you don't think they're number one good, how good do you think they are?
That's a great question. And if I've learned anything from college football, is it takes a minute to really understand what a team has, because the changes that happen now with Purdue, they haven't had the changes, but they've had some additions. And I thought that addition of the kid from Israel was going to pay great dividends, and it still might, because it's very early. Indiana beat Tennessee in a exhibition last year, and what did that prove? Nothing. So yeah, so we've got that. But appreciate you, my friend, as always.
Thanks,
make sure go to thesportingnews.com and follow Mike DeCourcy, as always. Appreciate you, brother, as always.
You too, Jim. Thanks.
Thank you. Hey, we've got lots more coming up. I'm back with Keith Farmer from WLEX in Lexington. Get a review on Kentucky and Purdue as they played over the weekend. Both future opponents of Indiana, but also both just top 25 good teams. Talk about some college basketball right after these messages.
If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. When it comes to apparel and promotions, FreeThink has you covered, literally, whether it's 24 or 200 shirts for sports leagues, businesses, or groups. FreeThink Apparel and Promotions can also create your very own merchandising store. FreeThink Apparel and Promotions did it for Indiana Sports Beat Radio, and they can do it for you. Whether it's screen printing, embroidery, digital printing, promotional products, vehicle wraps, or anything else under the promotional line. See what FreeThink Apparel and Promotions can do for you at freethinkapparel.com.
Huddle up, football fans. Tailgate season is here, and nobody gets you ready for game day like Academy Sports and Outdoors. Swing by your local Academy store or shop online at academy.com to find everything you need, from grills to jerseys and more. Be a watch party legend with gear from top brands like Nike and Under Armour, all at unbeatable prices every day. With 8 Academy stores across Indiana, including our Bloomington location, fun can't lose, and neither can you. Gear up today at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Whether it's a night out with the family, after work with colleagues, or catching the game with friends, Bubba's 33 is the place for you. Bubba's 33 offers a mouthwatering menu of selections that are all made from scratch every day. The portions are big, but the prices are small. And with over 50 big screen TVs, you'll never miss the big game. Bubba's 33, pizza, burgers, beer. Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Tuesday, joined now by good friend Keith Farmer from WLAX in Lexington. How are you doing, my friend?
Buddy, I'm doing great. Just glad that, it's not on a golf course, although we do like that, but that's usually where we spend most of our time together. I think the superintendents,
my ass.
I think the superintendents are happy we're not there.
Hey, you'd be kicking my butt, that's for sure. I saw you. I watched you. You were not on my team, but I always watch, man. I'm like, damn. Everybody, I'm like, well, who isn't better than me here, though?
Come on now. Don't
Uh,
sell yourself short.
Well, how do you measure yourself? By height. Yeah, we could go on all day. But first of all, how's things going down in Lexington? How are you doing, man? I know that we've got the college football season going. Kentucky has been kind of in this rut of sorts with Stoops. And I don't know where they are with that now, but it's just with this cut with the college coaching carousel that we've already seen. My gosh, it's like anything else that happens kind of would be under the radar with these major programs that have already cut loose.
I think there were like 10 before we got to October, and that's mind-boggling to hear that. But yeah, we're in the crossover season here, and for just a little bit of background sake, I worked in Louisville for 13 years. That's how you and I got to know each other. I've been back down here in Lexington for about 12 years. And so we do a show ever since the pandemic year, honestly. It's called BBN Tonight, Big Blue Nation, BBN Tonight. And so crossover season for us doesn't just include football and basketball. That you got one of the top, well, it's number 3 ranked volleyball team as well, and a couple of soccer teams playing well for them as well. So it's to our busy season, if you remember those days, Jim.
Absolutely. I mean, Indiana and Kentucky very alike in a lot of ways. Both
have
great soccer programs and similar other programs. Volleyball, Indiana's ranked in volleyball now, and I was. It didn't. Until I actually moved back to Bloomington, I did not realize that the Big Ten was the dominant volleyball conference. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, I'm like, who? Wisconsin, Nebraska. I'm like, what?
Penn State. Yeah, exactly.
I'm thinking Florida State, UCLA, USC before they were in the Big Ten.
They don't play on a beach. They play on a court.
I know, but I mean, you're thinking they play all year long. It's just volleyball's part of their culture. I'm like, no. I'm like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then but Steve Arrett has done a hell of a job. It's taken him a long time, but he's got Indiana ranked. Angel Escobedo has the wrestling program ranked. It's hard now, but but Louisville the same way. Another great soccer program, great volleyball program. So it's fun. I love calling this their Bermuda Triangle. It just is between Indiana, Louisville, and Kentucky.
Yeah.
It is just a great mix. You've got 3 different conferences on top of that. And so a mix when you get to play each other. Indiana and Louisville were going to play in football, and that didn't happen. But everybody's always calling for the Kentucky series to be reignited. And I just say that ain't never going to happen, because now, especially that the SEC has gone to 9 games, because they still have that P4 requirement, and Louisville will fill that P4 slot going forward for both of those teams. So that's not going to happen. But football, very interesting. Obviously, Indiana and Kurt Cignetti shocking all of us, including anybody here. I mean, this is still mind-boggling to see this go on. They are, Keith, I gave Keith some grief. He's a top 25 writer, but he's nothing like there were plenty of people that did not have Indiana on their ballot until they beat Illinois, which I found a little funny. But anyway, it's not a bias per se. I think think it's just an innate belief. It's like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Are you jerking my chain here?
Look, I had plenty of people that were like, hey, are you not watching what Indiana's doing and all this? And like, I had them in there before, like you said, before some other people did. But then after the Iowa game, I was like, ooh, that was kind of a close game. So I moved them up, but I think I was the lowest at like number 12. And then I took a beating from Indiana fans. All right. So remember, back when I worked in Louisville, I've covered Indiana football for a long time. The only
Oh
time I
man.
saw them good was with, rest in peace, Terry Hebner, and had them going along, humming along until his passing. And then it's just been like one of those things. Okay, here they come. No, not there yet. So I think I was like, okay, prove it to me after this Iowa game. And obviously they did that with Oregon. Where did I put them? I moved them up from 12th to 2, and that's where they will sit. Although I am thinking about moving them to 1, but that's where they'll sit until they face Ohio State at the end in the Big Ten
I
championship.
know it would come across as bias coming from me, although I think that I am pretty down the middle. I have thought that they were number one team, especially ever since beating Oregon. First of all, they have the two best wins in college football, if you look at it by the rankings. But just they're on both sides of the ball, they are just freaking dominant. And I'm like, in those two games against the top 10 teams, they had 13 sacks against just those two teams.
Yeah.
And so the defense has just been ferocious. The offense is clinical. And I'm like, I truly believe they are the number one team. And I think that they not only will go 12-0, I think that they actually beat Ohio State in the Big Ten championship, which will be wacky, of course. But and I know everything I'm saying. I sound like some homester guy, and I hate that. But it's just from seeing it up close, and that's a difference. I think seeing it up close and understanding a lot of the different things, you have a better understanding of it. But
sure,
I could be wrong as rain too.
Yeah, no, it's the same thing. Getting to see Texas up close against Kentucky, I wasn't as impressed, and kind of just got them back into my top 25. And so yeah, it's here's something I'm excited about as well for Indiana football. Signetti re-signing to stay there. I love it because it's like a Mark Few. I like that somebody builds something and then sees it through and doesn't just jump at the next chance. And so I love the fact that he's building something there and he's going to try and carry it on. That's just incredible.
Yeah, it is fun to see, and it's fun to see because it's going to happen at a school that is not your typical, didn't jump to Penn State, because that is what has always happened in college sports. Now we've got however many jobs that are open, like you said, at least 10, but a long time ago. But in these jobs, you're talking Florida, LSU, Penn State, UCLA, LSU, whoever else I'm missing. These are plum jobs, man. So it's like, who's going to fill these jobs? And then the vacuum that's going to create on top of that. So there's going to be some massive changes coming up in college football.
Yeah, it's kind of unreal to see how many of those major programs have those jobs to fill, and who's going to do it? Are they going to, are they just going to move almost like the NFL, right? Like when they let somebody go, they end up at another organization. So like, does Brian Kelly go to Penn State or whoever? It's just like, it's going to be really unusual to see which way those guys decide to go, or whether they bring up somebody that's kind of proving themselves at a lower level.
Absolutely. Keith Farmer from WLEX 18 and Big Blue Nation tonight with us. If you're a Kentucky fan, that would be surprising that you're listening at the moment, but you'll probably listen later when you see the hashtags. But so Purdue comes down to play Kentucky. That game went as I expected it would go. I'm not that big on Purdue personally. I think that they have a good team. Don't get me wrong, but I just think that the guards are susceptible to guards that defend like a bulldog because they can be shut down. And I just don't know that they're that much better than everybody else in the country, but that's why they play the games. And I could be completely wrong. Kentucky obviously looked good, but exhibition games, like I said, coming to the last,
Indiana beat Tennessee last year. What the hell did that mean? Nothing.
Right.
But
Honestly, you don't know too in exhibition games, like, what are the coaches really trying to get out of this? I mean,
right.
how many minutes are, like I was trying to look and see how many minutes those guys, I mean, Braden Smith actually played quite a few. So, I mean, are you looking for different matchups than you think you'd normally have in case you have somebody that's out with foul trouble? Are you trying some different plays that maybe you didn't have in the previous year? What kind of shape are you in this early in the season? So yeah, you're right. I mean, did we learn a lot? I don't know. I mean, I thought Purdue was a much better team, and they did have an off shooting night. And I think the reason there were so many people high on them is because when you've got a trio of players that have played so many games together, that's what makes them like, okay, we got to keep an eye on this team because that means this team knows each other. And even though it's not 5, but it's 3. And then this day of portal, I mean, that's pretty impressive to see them play that many games together.
Oh, absolutely. And that's what gives them an advantage. What did you see? From watching the game, and like I have to go back and rewatch games. When I'm at a game, it does me, I get a lot of things out of it, but I've got to go back and rewatch it. And I'm sure you've rewatched this game. But what did you see first of all, from Kentucky as to what Mark Pope is building?
So he wants to jack up a lot of threes, and he wants to hit the most in the country. He wants to take the most and hit the most. And they did put up a lot in this game, but I'm not sure they hit as many as he would like. I think we saw Jasper Johnson really show up. Remember, they were playing without Jaden Lowe, who's going to be their starting point guard. And Jasper Johnson, who's from right here in Lexington, his father is Dennis Johnson, who played football at UK, went to the NFL for a few years. And Jasper really showed up. I think we learned that Malachi Moreno, a freshman, is I know there was that one play. Do you remember where he was backing? I don't remember who he was backing down, and he waved everybody else off from his team and was like, took it up, got fouled. That's pretty impressive for a freshman, a 7-footer. I think we knew what we had with Owe. We knew what we had with Aberdeen and Mo, but it's like seeing it all kind of gel together. You can tell this team is picking up Pope's system, which is not a real easy one. It's almost like, back in the day in football when everybody was running the option. I'm talking back in the day, right? When we were younger. And then all of a sudden somebody started doing the whole throwing or the RPOs, and it was like, whoa, this is different. How do we defend this? And so that's kind of how Pope's offense is. He's got a different one that you have to get ready for on that particular night, and these guys are picking it up pretty quickly. So I think they're going to be a fun team to watch.
Malachi Moreno, know him quite well, played for Indiana Elite with these guys, and I watched him a lot. He played with Trent Sisley and with daggone it, he's at UConn now. I'm drawing a blank on his name. I cannot believe that. But anyway, they were a great trio, but he was, very athletic, and he's going to be a good one. He probably is working on his 3-point shot still to develop that. But he is great around the rim. He is athletic, man. He is mobile. So
see, the other thing in Pope's system, it's the bigs that kind of start the offense. And he's a great passer. And then you got Brandon Garrison, who's a really good passer. So, I don't know if you remember, but last year Amari Williams was bringing the ball up court, and then he would start the offense. So you do have a point guard, but it's not like you rely on them so heavily. Think about it. They were without their starting point guard, and the offense just hummed along because there's nobody. Everybody just can get the ball, take it up floor. If you're a big or a guard, doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's going to be different watching games with that style. And then with Purdue, we know what they have. They've added a couple of players. They've got the 7-footer that was on the bench already, but they also added the kid from Israel, in addition to having Fletcher Lawyer and Braden Smith and Trey Kaufman-Wren, who was right from down there in the southern Indiana, right by Louisville area, which probably is a kid that was recruited by everyone. Normally probably would have went to
Indiana, but I think that was back when Archie Miller was still coach, so no chance of that happening. But they've been together for quite a while. This is the last run of the band, though. And so I think there's a lot of pressure on Purdue because not having won at the national level. They did reach the national championship game once with Mount Edie, but they haven't really done it. And there just seems to be a lot of pressure because after this, it's like, all right, now what do you do? Because your core goes away. But I just think there's a lot of pressure. Did that look like a national championship level team?
No, it also looked like a team that just didn't shoot it as well. I give Matt Painter credit on this, because I listened to his press conference beforehand. He doesn't want a return visit from Kentucky. He wants to go on the road, and he wants to have his players feel that pressure, that environment that he got from Rupp Arena. I mean, the crowd was into it. And so he wants that so that when they go play that first real game, which for them is going to be Alabama, then they're not going to be as wowed by what's going on. It's going to be just another road game, right? So I give him credit there. They didn't shoot it great. I don't think Braden or Lawyer played it very well. I think really out of the three, Trey Kaufman-Wren was the one that looked kind of more at ease with what was going on. And, you don't know if that was like some carryover to some of the other players, seeing those two players really not step it up and shoot very well. I mean, Lawyer was just 3 of 15. So, I think I'm not sure that they impressed me enough to think they're a number one team, but I think they impressed me enough to think they're a top 10 team and they're going to be one to contend with through the year.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be a team that's going to be at the top of the Big Ten, near Michigan. I don't know what Illinois is going to be like. They've got like 6 or 7 Eastern European players, Keith, that literally that they brought in. So that's the thing. It doesn't matter if it's football or basketball. I don't know who's going to be like. Basketball, you kind of can get an idea. Like I say, we talk about Purdue. I know what they have. Yeah. So I can kind of gauge that. Michigan, boy, have they added. Dusty May has just been busy, and I think Michigan is going to be the team to beat out of the Big Ten, personally. I don't know where Indiana lies. I've guessed it's between 6th and 10th, guessing at that, because you just don't know. You don't know who has what. I don't know what UCLA is going to be like, just like the SEC, who was incredible last year. Wow. I mean, the SEC went from being just a football conference to now, man, they owned the basketball on the last. How many did they get? 14 into the tournament last year?
Yeah.
I mean, just incredible. And fun to watch, fun games to watch now. It's just everything has just gotten better, and you got to love it. Now, Indiana plays Kentucky this year again. This has just been, I don't care about anything. This is a series that should have never been ended. I still would like to punch Calipari right in the face for that. Just because he whined, because he got beat. And I don't want to hear that crap about them rushing the floor and all that. Oh, bull. They've done that everywhere else. It was just he got his ass beat as a number one team. And Indiana was number one the following year if they would have came back to Rupp. They would have had, that's when they would have had Oladipo and Zeller and all of that. So he's like, I don't want any of that. But anyway, it's back like it should be.
Yes.
Although it's still to Kentucky's favor. My God, they play at Rupp Arena. Then they play in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
Then Rupp Arena. Then back to Rupp Arena.
Yep.
Then finally to Bloomington.
Oh, you got Cal. God. You got Cal to thank for that too.
Well, I knew that. I'd always said that. I said if they redo this series, I said it will be so far away that Calipari will not be there. I promise you. I knew that there was no way he was going to play in that. But
we always said he'd buy it out. He'd never play that. We said it too. We said there's no way he's going to go back to Bloomington.
Yeah, and it's just funny. But anyway, because I grew up, man. This is just one of those series. I grew up. This is This is Alabama Auburn football for me. It's the Iron Bowl. I mean, as a kid, as a reporter, I can take my fanship out easily. But I got to be honest with you, as a kid, man, this was it. I didn't give a crap about Purdue. I'm like, Purdue's Purdue. I don't care about Purdue. It was all about Indiana, Kentucky, man.
Remember, it was Freedom Hall. It was the RCA Dome. We didn't play it on campus either, and it was split down the middle, right, with blue and red.
It was red and blue, man. It was crazy.
It was awesome the way they did that.
Yes, it was. Oh,
man. I still think they could do it that way, right? I still think they could.
Well, I guess they're going to find out when they
don't have it on campus, but.
Oh, that's right. They're not going to Indianapolis yet.
No. Not yet. And they're not giving up half the seats when they're on campus either school. So
no. So I wonder if they'll I wonder when this series runs its course, if what the next one would be like. If the next one would be well, I know it won't be coming back to Assembly Hall last. I wonder if they'll just do a home and home and then a Louisville Indianapolis. Just because of the seats they can add to both venues. But either way, it's back, and Indiana and Louisville play. And Louisville, the best of the three teams, it looks like right now.
Out of Indiana and Kentucky and Louisville?
These three. Yeah.
Ooh, that's
really?
All right.
I was just guessing. No, I was just guessing.
That's
everything I heard about Louisville.
Look, trust me, I think Kentucky and Louisville are like this. They're like
okay,
that far apart. I really do. So it's going to be a fun game. And remember, they're playing this one really early this year. We thought it was going to be the opener, and then Kentucky released their schedule, and they have, I think, 2 games before they play Louisville. They're playing November 11th. I mean, earliest ever. It's crazy.
That's. I mean, wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think the first game's on the 4th, and maybe the next one's the 7th, and then it's like, then boom, UK U of L.
Are they playing in the Bahamas somewhere?
They should. I wish they would. Get out of here for a little bit, but no, it's going to be in KFC Yum Center. So it's actually being played before the football game.
Oh,
make that make sense.
What football game?
UK U of L football.
So the basketball and the football games are on the same day?
No. Sorry, on the calendar.
Oh,
on the calendar. So the 11th and like the 25th, something like that. You got basketball first, then a couple weeks later, football's going to play. That's never happened.
That's nuts. I don't know how. That is the craziest thing I've ever heard. Wow.
Although it would be fun. We've had that conversation about, wouldn't it be fun if they just did a full day or a full weekend, maybe play basketball, men's basketball on Friday, football game on Saturday, women's game on Sunday. That'd be fun.
Well, Indiana likely is going to get to do that in Indianapolis, I believe on December 6th, as they are most likely headed to the Big Ten championship game to take on likely Ohio State later that evening. That's in the evening. Earlier that day, they play the Louisville Cardinals in basketball.
Wow.
There at Gamebridge Fieldhouse. So you've got the double dip going on for the Hoosier fans on that day, which would be a pretty wild thing to see. It would be especially wild if they brought out 2 wins on that, man. How about this Indiana football team? It is. I know it shocks everybody. Hell, it shocks us still.
Yeah.
But it's you get more used to it. Every presser with Kurt Signetti, we had one yesterday. He's gone from being that bombastic speaking guy to just normal. He said many times that was about getting people jacked up and revved up because it was just a like the Dead Sea here. And now he's all about business. It's the press conferences are very mundane, but he's got a sense of humor. He does like if someone quotes a stat that is very, very praising of like something, he'd say, what was that again? He has them repeat it. So he goes, oh yeah, that's not too bad, is it? He always does it. I like that.
That's good.
But it has been fun watching this, man. I've got to tell you, and just in the SEC, man, the SEC is so deep. I don't think that they have a team as good as Indiana. I don't know how good Ohio State really is. I'll be honest with you.
Same.
I won't know until Indiana and them play. I think Indiana is actually going to win the damn game because I think that on both sides of the ball, they're just that good. That front line has just been crazy good getting after the quarterback with tackles for loss and sacks. And Aiden Fisher, he's fine. He'll be back this week. And then offensively, man, they're running the ball. Hell, they had 200, almost 300 yards rushing last week.
Yeah.
So, and it's not, and then you've got a Heisman Trophy leader in Fernando Mendoza who can uncork 5 touchdown passes at any time. So, I think that they win that game. I really do. And I don't know that they're going to win a national championship because I'm afraid to say that because it would sound so incredibly bombastically stupid. But they got a legit shot, Keith, at winning a national championship.
100%, because even if they're not the number 1 seed, they're probably going to be the number 2 seed. And there's no huge difference there, I don't think, especially when you get into that college football playoff. It's been fun to watch it. I mean, it really has from this far. And again, to have covered that program before, it's really neat to see them have some excitement and to, because it was always just a try, and occasionally get some big wins, but like they hardly ever went to bowl games, right?
Yep.
I mean,
after Bill Mallory, I mean, during the Bill Mallory era, they did 6 out of 8 years, but
I was there from 2000 to 2013 covering the program, and then kind of watching a little bit from afar after that. After I came back here in 13,
it's a long run, man.
It was, and it was a great one, man. I can tell you, I tell everybody, it was so much fun to be able to, like you said, that triangle of Kentucky, Indiana, Louisville. It was just phenomenal to be able to cover that, to see Southern Indiana football and basketball, the difference that it is from Kentucky. Just to be able to see everything up there. I love Bloomington, loved going up there. The basketball coaches at the time, I literally got hired the week that Bob Knight got fired. And all of the basketball coaches were the best to work with, from Mike Davis to Tom Crean to Kelvin Sampson while I was there, and just couldn't say enough great things about those guys. And getting to go on that run with Davis to Atlanta, I mean, it was incredible and, highlight of my career. And so I always kind of keep tabs on both the other programs, even though I'm down here just among the one now, but I keep tabs on the other 2, and it's been a blast.
Well, yeah, it's just fun sports period to be able when you're able to be around those programs. It doesn't matter. Same with me. I keep up with Louisville. I keep up with what Kentucky's doing. I follow them all. It's just always of great interest to me. So I love doing it. And man, it has been such a pleasure having you on. I've known Keith for so long, for a long time. I was actually a putz at WOKY once, where he was the number 2 sports guy behind our old friend Fred Cowgill.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Yeah, I should say. What was the sign off? Damn it! How can I forget? Well, that one. But he would always say something
when he came on. He always said, "Hello again, everybody."
Oh, hello again, everybody.
On. Yeah.
Hello again, everybody. Yeah. You know how hard it is to not say that?
Yeah.
I swear to God, when I start a show every day, it is so hard to not say that. It is it's so ingrained in my head of hearing it, because I always say hello, or I try either that, or I just have to say welcome or something, because if I say hello, it is hello again, everyone.
Oh, funny.
But Keith Farmer from WLEX. Hey, buddy, I hope we can do this again. Hey, we'll especially when we get closer to basketball.
Sure.
We'll definitely be doing something, and that's on December 6th. But, brother,
Sounds
I
good.
appreciate you. Hopefully to see you on the golf course again, man.
Yeah.
I know you kicked my butt.
Quit.
Appreciate
Thanks, buddy.
you.
Appreciate your time.
You bet. Thank you. Keith
All right, man.
Farmer joining us here on Indiana Sports Beat Radio. More coming up. Bill Bender's going to join us after these messages.
The ISC Sports Network is your home for sports content across the Hoosier State. Find us live on TV and streaming or archived on our website and our app. The ISC is your one-stop shop for the content you want to see, including high school sports, college sports, and other great events throughout the year. Subscribe to our streaming service and get access to it all. ISC. Local lives here.
Know a team or group needing a fundraiser? Boost Fundraising raises more money faster and offers the most unique and user-friendly online fundraiser in the nation. Your team receives personalized fundraising pages for each team member. Free team-branded promo gifts shipped to each donor. Boost Fundraising does it all. Sports teams, marching bands, charity causes, and community groups. Go to boostfundraising.com and be sure to enter the promo code COYLE, that's COYLE, to receive a discounted fundraiser. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemore@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today. When it comes to apparel and promotions, Freethink has you covered, literally, whether it's 24 or 200 shirts for sports leagues, businesses, or groups. Freethink Apparel and Promotions can also create your very own merchandising store. Freethink Apparel and Promotions did it for Indiana Sports Beat Radio, and they can do it for you. Whether it's screen printing, embroidery, digital printing, promotional products, vehicle wraps, or anything else under the promotional line. See what Freethink Apparel and Promotions can do for you at freethinkapparel.com. Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Tuesday. Hope you're having a great day and enjoying your time. As I am, just finished up with a good friend, Keith Farmer from WLAX TV in Lexington, former WLKY in Louisville, sports anchor as well. That's how I knew him back in my days in the TV biz, man. But yeah, I love having friends all around in these different places, and being able to got to start getting more of those guys on as well. Got some guys up in Indy, some TV guys. But hey, man, I'm looking forward to talking to Bill Bender as well, the football writer, college football writer for the Sporting News, cohort of one Mike DeCourcy, whom we just had on. Looking forward to getting his thoughts on. I truly, man, and again, God, I hate to sound. It sounds. I don't want to sound like a homer because I'm not. But I think Indiana is the number one football team in the country. I mean, statistically, I think it bears it out. But there's, a lot of teams that are great. Do not get me wrong. Ohio, I don't know how good Ohio State really is. None of us do. That's the thing. They played an average Texas team, beat them by a touchdown. That's they haven't really played anyone else, right? Of note. Let's see. Since they played Texas, they played Grambling. They played Ohio. They did beat Washington at Washington 24-6. Now, I would give you, that's a solid win right there.
That's a solid win. Washington just put 42 on Illinois. 42 points on Illinois. Washington's a good team. But they beat Ohio State, beat Minnesota. They beat Illinois at Illinois 34-16. Okay, so Illinois just got beat by Washington 42-20 something. They got beat by Indiana 63-10. I'm not, and Ohio State beat Wisconsin 34-0. I'm just not sold on Ohio State being the top team. I think that they're not the top team. I think that they are in the top 4, maybe. But they're going to remain number 1 throughout the season, unless something were to happen, until the Big Ten championship game. Then you see the possibility of Indiana being the number 1 ranked team in the country. We'll got lots more coming up. Bill Bender's going to join us on the other side right after these messages.
Andy Moore Honda is Bloomington's number 1 Honda dealer for a reason. Buy a new Honda and get a 3-month break from car payments. That's right, no payments for 90 days. That includes the all-new, all-electric Honda Prologue, and you get it for just 0.9% financing. Or the 2024 Honda Ridgeline Black Edition or the Honda Accord LX, both for just 1.9% financing. Get more to your door from AndyMooreHonda.com, Bloomington's number 1 Honda dealer and your best place for new and used vehicles. If you're looking for a new home in the Indianapolis area, you need Cheryl Sizemore from Brick and Ivy Realty. Cheryl Sizemore has over 2 decades of experience, and that could be the difference in getting the home you want in today's tough housing market. Reach out to Cheryl at CherylSizemooreSells@gmail.com or 317-701-0838. That's 317-701-0838. Let Cheryl Sizemore sell or find your new home today.
Huddle up, football fans. Tailgate season is here, and nobody gets you ready for game day like Academy Sports and Outdoors. Swing by your local Academy store or shop online at academy.com to find everything you need, from grills to jerseys and more. Be a watch party legend with gear from top brands like Nike and Under Armour, all at unbeatable prices every day. With 8 Academy stores across Indiana, including our Bloomington location, fun can't lose, and neither can you. Gear up today at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
Zach Browning here to tell you about an offer you simply can't pass up. If you're looking for the best coverage of Indiana football and basketball, which includes recruiting, weekly chats, podcasts, as well as access to the best national team out there, then look no further than thehoosier.com. The best part, it's just $1 for the first week. Oh, and did I mention that you get a full year of access to The Athletic when you sign up? You can't beat the coverage, and you can't beat the deal. So head over to thehoosier.com today and sign up for just $1. It'll be the best decision you ever made.
Welcome back, Indiana Sports Beat Radio on this Tuesday. Glad to have you along, and even happier to have our friend Bill Bender with us from the Sporting News. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing well, Jim. Thanks for having me on. And I think you had Mike on earlier. We've had to be separated, him being a Steelers fan and me being a Packers fan. We've been separated for the last 36 hours or so.
I see that helmet up above you there, man. So yeah, the backer, man, what a great pickup they got from Jerry Jones. Like Merry Christmas come early for the Packers, but it seems like the Packers are just they're never not competitive.
Well, and some people, if you're taking the journalist hat off and being a fan, when I was growing up, and I'm 46, the first 10 to 12 years of my life, it was Lynn Dickey and some really rough Green Bay teams. And then everything post Brett Favre has been competitive. And, you can make the argument that, hey, they've only won 2 Super Bowls with 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. And now Jordan Love looked really good on Sunday night. But there's been a lot of frustration and some tough losses in between. I have a 14-year-old son. I want them to win a Super Bowl for him. You know, I've seen a couple. I want him to have that first moment, and I think I'm not saying they're going to win it this year, but this is as good a look that they've had with that Micah Parsons trade. It'd be cool to play the Colts down the road. It'd be cool to play the Bills, but there's a long way to get there.
Yep, NFL season has been fun so far, and especially fun for the Colts fans here. And what a year it's been in the state of Indiana for football, with the Colts and the Hoosiers both just plowing through. I don't know if the Colts are the number one team in the NFL or not, but they're certainly playing at that high of a level.
What's it like for you? I mean, so not just the Colts in Indiana, but I think Notre Dame's got a decent inside shot at the playoff. If they continue to do what they're doing, you're going to have two playoff teams, both that I was just on another show. And I said, if I was picking three teams that I thought could actually challenge Ohio State on the field, and Ohio State's been awesome, right? You know, Julian saying 80% completion percentage. You have the best receiver in the he probably be pretty good on Sunday right now, Jeremiah Smith, and this amazing defense. The three teams I think that are built to actually challenge them are Indiana, which we're probably going to see in Indianapolis in the Big Ten championship game, Alabama, because Alabama still has Alabama guys, and they have a very good quarterback in Ty Simpson, and then Notre Dame. If Notre Dame can continue to win with that running game, their defense has improved. CJ Carr has gotten better. I watched him a couple years ago play Ohio State to the last play. That's not dismissing Michigan. I mean, Michigan will play them in the regular season finale, and that will be a good game. But that's really my list. Did I miss anybody?
No, that's it. I mean, it is accurate. It's what an incredibly fun season this has been and is going to be, because nobody knows who's going to win the national championship. I know that Ohio State has been number one for pretty much most of the year after they beat Texas, but Texas is, to me, an average team. And I don't know how good that Ohio State is. I mean, I know they're good, but I don't know if they are the best team. I don't know that Indiana is not the best team, to be honest with you. Statistically, you look at everything, and I know statistics don't win games, but boy, they sure are up there in a lot of them, as is Ohio State. But you've got Fernando Mendoza, who's probably the betting leader to win the Heisman right now, but Julian's saying right there behind the Big Ten championship game may be the de facto Heisman Trophy winning game, I think.
Oh, for sure. I mean, those guys have really stuck out, and we're going to see what's different. I mean, I went to that Indiana-Ohio State game last year, and I kind of left with that's kind of what I expected, that Indiana was good, and it was a good first half, but they weren't quite ready for that version of Ohio State. I think this team this year, different, violent at the line of scrimmage on both sides. I mean, you want to talk about setting a tone. Aiden Fisher did that last week against UCLA. They have a better running game, I think, than Ohio State. That's one difference. Their committee approach in the backfield a little bit better than Ohio State. Both teams have really good receivers. Both teams have accurate quarterbacks. I think Ohio State's defense is a little bit better, but not by the statistics, and probably by the talent in some places. I mean, you don't have a Caleb Downs at Indiana, but Indiana has some guys on the back end too. So that's what makes that potential matchup really fascinating to me.
Yeah, D'Angelo Pons in the secondary, along with Aiden Fisher at linebacker. Their defensive line has ferocious is the word that comes to mind. They have just been unbelievable in the games against Illinois and Oregon, ranked top 10 matchups. 13 sacks just in those two games. Oregon had given up 1 sack all season. Indiana had 6 in that game. And that is something that they do so well, is get to the quarterback, whether they sack him or pressure or hurry him or force him out of the pocket. They have done a tremendous job of that so far this year.
Yeah, and that's what's been surprising. I didn't think they were. I think I was on this show before the week before the Oregon game. I didn't think they were going to beat Oregon. And they went out and played very well. And what they've done the last couple of weeks is they've handled it. You know, they took care of business against Michigan State. They took care of business against UCLA. Interested to see how they go out to Maryland this week, because Maryland has played some close games in Big Ten play. Malik Washington's pretty good. That game was not close last year, but 42-28 isn't above the giant spreads that Indiana's playing with. And, you know, so we'll see how they go out there. I was just on another show, and I was getting there was a little bit of talk about Iowa, you know, and what if Iowa finishes 10-2? Is that a playoff team? I mean, they played Indiana tough, you know,
Iowa is a team that is a good team. They're a solid team, and they're going to win all the games they're supposed to win. That is for certain. And it may be a time, because the Big Ten is only going to get 3 in as of right now. Right. Unless somebody else sticks their head up. It's not going to be Nebraska now. We know that. USC probably not after the loss to Notre Dame, but Illinois, they're out as well. Is that the only other option? Is Iowa the only other option right now?
And this is part of it's the flaw in this college football playoff setup. You can say, well, you got to win your games, but a 9-3. Let's do the Michigan debate I've been doing over the last couple of weeks. Let's say Michigan goes 9-3, and their losses are to USC, Oklahoma, and Ohio State. My argument was, well, why did they play Oklahoma if it's just about getting to 10-2? You know, why didn't they just schedule another MAC school, get to 10-2? Granted, they looked pretty bad in that USC road loss. But let's say they play Ohio State and it's 17-14 and they lose this instant classic in the game. And if the game is just to get to 10 wins, then why are we criticizing these teams? So, I'm just using them as an example. Texas would be another one. Let's say Texas goes 9-3, and they could say, well, had we not played Ohio State and played, you know, whoever in that spot and went 10-2, we're in. So I do want to see if the committee's actually going to value those stepping out games for the losers, or are we penalizing them for stepping out in non-conference play? Because there's very little incentive to me to do it if the name of the game is just to get to 10 wins.
Yesterday, at Kurt Cignetti's presser yesterday, he talked about Maryland's defense a lot. You kind of alluded to it a minute ago, but you know, they're only allowing like 17 points per game. They have 22 sacks. They have a new defensive coordinator that spent 16 years in the NFL. And they have a freshman quarterback, but he's been playing well. I've said this about Maryland all year. They lose their starting quarterback to Wisconsin, who became their starting quarterback. They lose their all-conference running back, Roman Hemby, to Indiana, who is their number one workhorse now, and they get better than they were. They played better all season than they were last year, shockingly. So it's Mike Loxley has done an amazing thing there, man, but they're still floating up and down for the Terrapins.
Inconsistent at times, but you got to look at that area. I mean, they have a good recruiting base. They should have some talent. Their defense has played well. They get after the passer. Probably the closest I watched them all year was the Wisconsin game, where I was like, wow, they are just better than Wisconsin talent wise. So, you know, that's what makes this a little bit of I don't want to say a trap game for Indiana, because that's an overused phrase, but Indiana will have to go out there and play well, because it seems like once a year in Big Ten play, Maryland will jump up. They've played Ohio State tough there in the past. They've played Michigan in 4-quarter games with Michigan, with Big Ten championship caliber teams. 2018 with Ohio State, I don't know if you remember that game. It came down to like the last play. Michigan a couple years ago came down to a couple plays. So Indiana should be aware of that and prepared. And Kurt Cignetti's absolutely right. They do have an active front on the defensive side.
Yeah, and as I'm looking through these stats, man, it's so amazing how Indiana is up in a lot of these rushing defense again. And this defense is boy, they are bordering on being one of the greats. But the secondary, sometimes I wonder, they've had some miscues back there that has allowed some scores. Although Indiana's defense has only given up about 3 points per game in the second half, Bill. They get stronger. They've only allowed 2 touchdowns all season in the second half, which I think is very noteworthy. Usually, your defenses get tired, or you get to the fourth quarter and you're taking your ones out. But man, they have maintained this staunch defense in the second half of not yielding much to the opponent.
No, and that's been the impressive thing. Like I said, when you beat UCLA the way you did, you kind of think in the second half, okay, they're gonna get a couple drives. I would say from those who look at point spreads and things like that, like Michigan State at the end of that game, they got kind of a junk drive where they decided to kick a field goal and on the last play of the game. So, I mean, I don't really look at those, but I think this Indiana defense is really active. The tackles for loss, I think, talked about those the last couple times on here. When you can create negative plays and put people in 2nd and 13 and 3rd and 14, you get off the field quicker. And they do have several All-American caliber players that will, when we have our Sporting News All-American meeting here in a couple weeks, that are on our radar. I look at them every week. So it's a very, really good Indiana team. And I used to, I'll tell you this, I normally do it over the years. You do it with Ohio State and Michigan just by growing up here. You kind of watch both and kind of size them up for that game. I've been doing the same with Indiana each week, kind of watching them and being like, okay, what's this going to look like when they play the Buckeyes? What's that matchup going to look like on the outside with Pons and Tate? What's this going to look like on the interior? And that's an ultimate compliment to the program, because I think the anticipation for that game, it could be the first one of two type deal where they see each other twice.
Absolutely, because I think the loser of that game, with both teams likely being 12-0 when they arrive, would be to get the second seed. I don't know if they would do that over the SEC, but what do you think?
I think they'd probably put the SEC champion 2. So you would go right now in a Sporting News college football playoff projections. We have our 1, 2, 3, 4 is Ohio State, which says we have them beating Indiana. They will be favored against Indiana. So I'm not like doing anything controversial there. 2, Alabama. I think Alabama has a clean look at the SEC championship game at the very least. Then we have 3, Indiana, and 4, Texas A&M, which is kind of the SEC version of Indiana right now, that nobody really believes in them all. I'm not saying nobody, like they have plenty of cynics,
I think Texas A&M is the best team in the SEC.
They beat down LSU over the weekend. They have an exciting quarterback. They have an active, it's all of the, how about I just press record and play? Everything I said about Indiana, you could say about Texas A&M. Exciting quarterback, good receivers, strong running game. Cassius Howell leads that defense. He's a really active player and a good coach in Mike Elko, who's not afraid to say what's on his mind. So you're exactly right. I think Texas A&M and Alabama, those would be the 4 teams that I think get buys. And we're kind of ignoring Georgia at that point because Kirby, I've been writing it all season. Kirby they're not the 21 Georgia, but they're still pretty good, and he still finds ways to win. He's done some of his best coaching this year.
Yeah, that win at Tennessee, though, then they had another win, just may have been this week. I can't remember where. It was just a great battle. They have definitely been hardened, no doubt about that. National title game, baby. Indiana and Texas A&M. I can see it.
You're good. Bring your suntan lotion in Miami, Indiana, Texas A&M. What a matchup that would be. They could see each other down the line, but and then we get into the, who else is kind of in the mix. I talked about Notre Dame. Notre Dame has to win out. They're a very dangerous team. I think their tricky game along the way here. Well, Navy will be interesting. Navy's got a really good quarterback in Blake Horvath. That's a lot of fun to watch. And then the Notre Dame tricky trap game is Pitt. Pitt's pretty good. They've kind of turned their season around. They've got an active defense with the linebackers, Rasheem Biles, Kyle Lewis. They've made a switch at quarterback, and that has worked out. And there's a little bit of a rivalry there, not as much as maybe we grew up with. But, I think that Pitt Notre Dame game will be the key one for them.
We'll certainly find out. Make sure you're following Bill Bender at the Sporting News for the greatest in football content, buddy. I appreciate you. Hopefully we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Hey, no problem, Jim. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you, sir. Bill Bender from the Sporting News. Like I said, make sure you're giving him a follow on Twitter and keeping up with all their content there at the Sporting News. That's going to wrap it up for us today. Appreciate you joining us. As always, back tomorrow to do it all again. We'll keep you up to date with what's going on and see what else is happening. We'll hear from Kurt Signetti tomorrow and much more. Appreciate you. Until then, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.
Thanks for listening to Indiana Sports Beat Radio. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube page for more clips and team coverage of Indiana basketball, football, and more. You can also find full episodes and tons of other content on thehoosier.com. We'll see you next time for another edition of Indiana Sports Beat Radio.